You've got this wide range of possible outcomes for C Corps. It's 21% at the low end, and it's up around 39% at the top end. And that's the second layer of tax is the complexity for C Corps. For S Corps, it starts right when you're in the money. I mean, all S Corps these days are going to be taxed at 37%, right? Some of them may get the deduction. If you're a specified service business, you don't get the deduction. If you're not a specified service business, you will get the deduction, but it's subject to the guardrails and it's subject to limitation. If you have international income, you don't get the deduction. There are other things like that. If you don't have enough wages, you don't get the deduction. If you're structured wrong, and Treasury does the aggregation rules in a way that we hope they won't, then you won't get the deduction. So it gets really, really complex. I think what I love about that first slide that Bob shows with all the effective marginal rates is that it gives you a general idea that while all the outcomes vary dramatically depending on facts and circumstances, generally speaking, the S Corp down the road is going to pay a higher effective marginal rate than the C Corp down the road. And so the challenge that we face with all that complexity is, okay, how do we take that complexity and turn it into a reasonable and effective advocacy strategy? And so I've got a simple three-step plan here. And step one is, working with Treasury and folks to make sure that the rules coming in Treasury are as good as possible, so that businesses that should get the deduction, they actually get the deduction. If you're a manufacturer and you're making stuff here in the United States and you employ people here, you should get the deduction even if you have multiple legal entities and you might have some sort of an aggregation issue. Two, we need to make things permanent. Doug's done some work on that front, and I'm sure he'll address it, but the permanency issue is something that people are paying for right now. They're trying to figure out, okay, I want to be an S Corp, I want to get that deduction, but it goes away in 8 years. How am I going to deal with that? And then the third thing is what Senator Johnson talked about, which is one of the reasons I really enjoyed my buddy relationship with him, is he's looking down the road like, okay, what does the real reform look like? How do we get all businesses to a place where you're taxing the S Corps and C Corps, public companies, closely held companies, just about the same. So they're all paying the same top rate, they're all paying it once, they're all paying it when it's earned, and there's none of this complexity like the second layer of tax on C Corps or all the different rules that we're dealing with S Corps. And that's the three-step challenge, right? Get the rules right out of Treasury, work on permanence so we build a foundation for the future, and then figure out what the end game is. And so